Basically, good morning. My name is Alok, and this is Waking Wise. The same rhetoric, same life. And today we'll do something which is very, very different. It has not come out in the public domain for a very long time now. Okay. Yes, it is in the public domain in terms of books, but there are very seldom set of people who have practiced something like this. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the amazing meditation which is about to begin. Keep your spine straight. As I say you, I also keep my spine straight. Keep your shoulders back, neck straight. I have to lean forward because I have to look at you. Keep your microphones in mute if it is possible. And close your eyes. Close your eyes. Take three deep breaths. We've been doing it now. You can do it yourself, right? Long breaths. Purakaha. Hare Chakaha. Purakaha. Hare Chakaha. Purakaha. Hare Chakaha. We will continue this deep breathing for the entire session. Somewhere in the middle, if you forget that the breath has become too shallow, it's perfectly fine as long as the mind is focused. The condition is there. If the mind is not focused, then you have to quickly take deep breathing. So this is how it is. Long breaths controls the mind. This is what the relation is. Long breaths and deep breaths control stability of the mind. So the breath is shallow, okay? Then the mind is wavering. Shallow breathing and short breathing, palpitation breathing is uncontrolled mind. Is so it's a corollary. You can control either of the two. So if you have some divine grace, you can control the mind, the breath automatically gets controlled. Or you can control the breath, you can control the mind. Keep deep breathing. Now, look at the thoughts which are coming in the mind. The topic of today, in fact, this entire series is called Bahavo Jnana Tapsa. This is a word you will not find on Google, unfortunately. I'm sure a lot of people have responded to me saying that we are not able to find a complete shloka. Can you complete this? Right? There are a lot of things which are there in the Vedas and the Upanishads, basically the Vedant, right? Which you read, decipher, and produce due to your divine engagement. You do not produce; it's being produced from you. One of the statement is this: Bahavo Jnana Tapsa. What does it mean? Right. So before we are actually going deeper into the meditation, we will cover the periphery and then we will build the concentric circles and come inside. Okay. Take your breath long and deep and keep observing the breath from one side and on the other side. Listen concentratedly with full awareness to what we are saying. Bahavo Gyan Tapsa. Bahavo means greatest. There's nothing more great than this. Gyan. Gyan is the path of wisdom. That's Gyan. Tapsa. Tapsa is penance. Tapasya. Right? Hardship. Bhavo Gyan Tapsa. The greatest penance that you can do is to acquire knowledge. Because seldom people get wise. Seldom people acquire knowledge. Seldom people, you know, enlighten themselves. So the path of jnana is the path of enlightenment, right? Even in the Indic text of Ramcharitmanas, even in the Indic scriptures of Gita, we pick up the Brahma Sutra, we pick up the Ved. Everywhere it is written that the purpose of human life is to know thyself, and that is what the whole agenda of making wise is: to know thyself. Why is knowing thyself structurally connected with intellect? Or why it is being called as the greatest penance? Why? Because the entire body mind complex is being controlled by the intellect. It's the processing power, it's the decision maker, it's the deciding authority, it's the president and the CEO of the entire mind body complex. So it is like you have a chairman in your company who controls anything and everything. It is his wish and his fancy how people think, behave, and operate. How do you control your intellect? Right? To achieve the path of wisdom, the greatest contribution will come from intelligence, not from the mind, not from the senses. Because the mind, they don't have, themselves have intelligence. Right? The, the senses do not have their own intelligence. They have built-in intelligence. They've been programmed a certain manner. Right? Look at how animals get hungry. Look at how do they mate. Look at how do they sleep. It's all a pre-programmed intellect of the senses. Right? Look at the state of intelligence of an animal. Right? A cow is sleeping or sitting on the road. Can you find intelligence in this? No, because they do not have intelligence. हमारे यहाँ ये कहते हैं पशु वृत्ति, वृक्ष वृत्ति. वृक्ष वृत्ति is जड़ वृत्ति, is indrik vritti. What it means is plants, plants and trees and shrubs, they just have senses. They just have senses. They do not have a mind, right? So plant will naturally not cry and say that I am hungry. Similarly, animals, pashu vritti, manah vritti. In animals, you only find a mind. They have the senses, they have the mind, but they do not have an intellect. Look at the behavior of animals. Right? It's all emotional. It's all wants, needs, and desires. There's no concrete decision making. But look at humans. Humans have intelligence, which animals do not have, which trees and shrubs do not have. And the purpose and the goal of giving the intellect is to know the divine. This is what Vedant says. The material world or the other things, they have a different perception here. And here there is also duality. People think that the purpose of life is to know thyself, so do not exist in the material world. No, it never said that. It said that do your duty in those particular parameters and do justice to whatever you're doing. Right? If you're doing yoga, right? Yoga chittavritti nirodha, so do it in its complete perfection. Yoga is for perfection, perfection in actions. Right? Bahavo Gyan Tapsa. The contribution of intellect is the greatest in the acquisition of knowledge and realizing the true self. Let us understand and meditate upon the intellect. Go back into your mind, go back into your intellect and see what does it do. It does three things. It is continuously telling yes and no. It is continuously telling why. It is the reasoning powerhouse. It does not produce emotions of distress, but if it is able to direct to the mind that this is a thought which you need to think, the mind will be forced to think. Right? Hence, lot of mental issues of depression or other issues are somewhere also connected to the intellect. Intellect is the processing house. If you look, your intellect is Bahiram, outer focused, outer directional. Right? It's continuously facing the material world. but it needs to come back inside. You have to change the direction of outside to inside. So the intellect is facing the mind, facing the senses, facing the subjects and the objects of the material world. Close your eyes, sit back straight, do not move your body. All the senses have moved inside. Control your mind, surrender your mind to the intellect. अपने मन को अपनी बुद्धि के चरणों में आप रख दें. अपने मन को अपनी बुद्धि के चरणों में रख दें. आपका मन शून्य हो जाए. ये एक तरीका है. Second method is observe the thoughts in the mind. Who is observing? This is the intellect which is observing right now. Why? Because he has to decide what he needs to do. So it's a decision making power who will first have an observation and then decide. It's part of the observation process is part of the decision making process. बुद्धि का काम निर्णय जय पराजय इसका है. Labh, hani, profit, loss, victory, failure, success. A lot of people think they are failures, right? And then they start implementing the thoughts of failure on the mind, on the senses, on the body, on the subjects. That's wrong. So people think that the intelligence is only for some kind of material use. No, its biggest use is in realizing yourself. Because only through intelligence you will be able to understand who you really are. You cannot understand it through your own mind. You cannot understand through your own mind. Now look at your own life, look inside your own heart and see how pure the heart is and how the intelligence is actually continuously doing a calculation. Yes and no, profit loss, profit loss. For a couple of minutes, stop the decision making. Say it's okay. I surrender whatever is happening. I surrender the decisions in the feet of my divine. I surrender the decisions on the feet of my divine. I will accept whatever happens in life. प्रारब्ध पहले रचा पीछे रचा शरीर. First, there is the block dynasty, the broad dynasty which has been created. Inside it, the fine dynasty can be modified. So why worry? Why worry? Submit the entire attentions to the feet of the divine from the intelligence. Say, I will not take a decision unless for the next couple of minutes. Look at this mental silence that you achieve. Because the engine of processing has been stopped. There's no work to do. There's a complete lockdown. Shut down the intelligence. You automatically see the mind shuts down, it dissolves, disappears. Senses are not moving, the body is not moving. Only external inputs of sound, some other inputs are coming, and they are coming to your intelligence. You are processing that there is some sound here and some sound that, but then you are only processing the sound, nothing more. And if you feel that if you shut down the machine, the intellect machine, you realize that there is more sound inside than outside. There is someone who is speaking inside, which you need to hear rather than hear the mind, which is outside, because it's facing outside. बाहिरंग मन है, बाहिरंग बुद्धि है. बुद्धि को अगर आप अभी शांत कर लें, तो ये अंतर्मुख हो जाएगी. It will start facing inside. So if you shut down the material decisions, it will start facing inside. Observe the silence of decision making when there are no decisions made. No decisions made on life, on existence, even to such an extent that there are no decisions made for the body and mind temporarily. This pure empty pipe from subjects, objects, विषय विकार इंद्रियां मन बुद्धि से लेकर पूरा शांत और शीतल है. From the objects, senses, mind, intellect. Because you've shut down the entire machinery. Everything is under lockdown. Why? Because you have directed them to inside. What is that which you find inside? You may find a lot of sounds, lot of noises. You may find light. You may find a blank space. अंधेरा दिख सकता है, शोर दिख सकते हैं, दृश्य दिख सकते हैं पुराने. घबराने की कोई बात नहीं है. It's perfectly fine. Why? Because this is the picture which is running from the destiny, from the divine programming. Right? It will have impressions of subconscious which the mind and the senses and the intellect has projected from outside. It's okay. Let them dissolve. Just focus. Okay, this thought, this image, this vacuum, this light, this dot, this person does not matter right now. Drop them. What do you see? Because there's nothing to see. You're just silent, silent, pure silent. Just pure silent. Pure silent. Anything comes in between, fold your hands. Say, please allow me to look inside. They will disappear. This is magical. Yes, try doing it. The intellect has to come inside. Look at what is the picture which is running inside. Inside the consciousness. Inside the large and inflated ego. You find all of this is stupid. Observe. Observe the inner space, the inner noise, the inner sound, the inner vacuum, light, whatever is visualizing inner. अपने मानस और बुद्धि और चित चिदाकाश में. It's called Chidakash, the plane of consciousness. What do you find in the plane of consciousness? Whatever you're finding, just accept. Just accept. The greatest support which we get in realization is acceptance. राजी है उसमें जिसमें तेरी रजा है. यहाँ तो यूं विवाह हुआ है, वो मिला है. स्वामी राम. Except for some time this is happening in the present. Inside the plane of consciousness. चिदाकाश चिदाभास में क्या क्या दिख रहा है. जो जो दिख रहा है वो सत्य है, उसको मान ले, एक्सेप्ट कर ले. आपकी अपनी करनी के भी दिखेंगे, किसी और की करनी के भी दिखेंगे. Your deeds, someone else's action, the representation of the universe. कुछ भी दिख सकता है. Just observe. It can be absolutely silencing. Sometimes it can also be disturbing, but that's okay. You are not doing anything. If you are not doing anything, none of anything of this affects you. That's for sure. Stay in this silence of observing the conscious plane. चिदाकाश में जो जो दिख रहा है उसको निष्पक्ष निष्पेक्ष भाव से देखें. Whatever you can feel, see, observe in the plane of the consciousness, observe it without any abjugations, judgmental thoughts. Silence, pure silence. Mind is silent, the body is silent. There is no input coming. The intellect is silent. You can stay in this state as long as you like. Now imagine you have a silver bow and arrow. Imagine you have a silver bow and arrow which is gifted divine. आपके पास एक धनुष बाण है जो कि दिव्य है और अब आप ये सोचिए आपको जीवन से क्या चाहिए अब आपको उस जीवन से क्या चाहिए उस एक बाण में what do you want in life take one arrow right hold it in your hand pray and put the energy of what you want in life in that arrow उस तीर कमान में से एक तीर निकाल के उसमें आपको जीवन में जो चाहिए उसमें वो चीज की प्रार्थना डाल दें और अपने ईश्वर से कहें कि मुझ में ये शक्ति दें कि मैं उस चीज को पूर्ण कर सकूं ask and surrender the prayer to the divine that you want to accomplish this thing in life whatever it is and take the bow वो कमान लेकर उस तीर को आप उसमें उस जो भी आपको सामने दिख रहा है आप उसमें चला दीजिए खींच लीजिए जोर से पीछे तक के छोड़ दीजिए pull it back with full strength and fire the arrow in the space which you are eventually seeing and imagine what is happening and see what is happening you'll find a lot of things which are happening in that particular space now observe that you'll find a lot of things falling down you will find a lot of things happening white light black dots that is what Chidakash is that is what conscious plane is आपने चिदाकाश को भंग किया है उसके अपने व्यक्तित्व से you have disrupted the true nature of the reflection of pure consciousness जो अहम से बना है आपने अहंकार से उत्पन्न हुए चिदाभास को भंग किया है यही आपको रोक रहा है जीवन में आगे बढ़ने से imagine the blessings and the divine grace that you are receiving this divine grace is coming to your intellect to your mind to your body to your edges of the pores of your fingers, nails, tip of the head to the tip of the toe. That energy which is coming from inside, that light of pure consciousness that is coming after breaking open the wall of the subconscious or the plane of the mirror of consciousness. चिदाभास की दीवार को भंग करने के बाद जो आंतरिक दिव्य ज्योति आ रही है वो दिव्य ज्योति आपकी बुद्धि मन इंद्रियां और शरीर के हर अंग तक के दैदीप्यमान हो रही है प्रकाशित हो रही है इस एनर्जी को महसूस करिए फील दिस एनर्जी दिस इज डिवाइन एनर्जी दिस कलर ऑफ द एनर्जी कैन बी एनीथिंग इट कैन बी व्हाइट इट कैन बी समटाइम्स लाइट ब्राउनिश it can sometimes be bluish electric bluish electric violet bluish sometimes it can be pure white whiter than the white light or sometimes it can be sound which you can feel in the body whatever is coming in the format of divine grace this is the divine energy which exists in the universe observe the energy slowly very slowly fold your hands and bow to this divine energy which is coming from your pure consciousness and thank the divine and thank the divine आप अपने इष्ट को धन्यवाद और प्रणाम करें आपको ये स्थिति दिखाने के लिए, आपको ये स्थिति दिखाने के लिए पूरा शरीर रोम रोम पुलकित होकर दैदीप्यमान हो गया है. The entire body has now become a divine body. The mind has become divine mind. It will have divine thoughts. The intellect will do divine deeds now. You thank the divine for doing everything. आप अपने इष्ट गुरु भगवान अल्लाह ईश्वर हरि उनको प्रणाम करें, उनको धन्यवाद दें, उनके चरणों में अपनी बुद्धि को रख दें. Slowly come back to your mind. Come back to the body, the intelligence, the mind. You see, the mind is back to its own stupid stuff. The intelligence is doing the mathematical thing. The body is aching with pain, or it's completely free from all the pains. That's perfectly fine. Move the body, rub the hands, put them in your face, your body. Open your eyes. We are done with today's meditation. Any questions which I can quickly answer? All of the participants, a lot of participants today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Salok.
Thank you so much. So if there are no questions, we're done with the meditation. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Alok.
Thank you, Jaideep. So let's look forward to another day of good meditation. Keep healthy, keep waking wise. Take care.
Thank you.
Good day.